Assalamu alaikum. Dear listener, today it's been a couple of days since the 15th of Shaban. One of the holiest days for the Muslims around the world, especially Shia Muslims, because it marks the birth of the last savior, the 12th Imam. Both Sunnis and Shias believe in the Mahdi, as it is a truth narrated by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So on this day, let's look at what has happened over the past few months and just to reflect on our approach to today. Over the past few months, and especially in the past few weeks, the world has seen unprecedented events. These include the largest global scale pandemic that humanity has ever known. A scale of events that hasn't happened since the time of Noah, global in nature, impacting every single country, all the major economies, from east to west, from north to south. Secondly, closing of the holiest of holiest sites of all religions, churches for Christians, Vatican for Christians, Jewish temples and holy sites in Jerusalem for Jews, mosques and the Grand Mosque for Muslims, Grand Mosques of Makkah, Medina, Najaf, Karbala, Samara, Mashhad, Qum, Kaziman. Every single religious site is closed. Unprecedented, number 3, is unprecedented amount of death, and pure death. 2,000 people alone died in the US, in the United States yesterday. Their conversion of parks into graveyards and conversion of grocery freezers into morgues. Dead bodies are lying in the homes and no one is coming to pick them up. And this is the same story from one country to another. And have we thought what happens when this death comes knocking on our door? Number 4 is the economic impact. Fastest crash in the stock market in 125 years. The global economy has come to a halt, and unlike 2000, 2007, 1974, 87, 30, this halt is not due to man-made issues. This halt is due to an invisible force that no one has seen or ever saw coming. The US Federal Reserve has already injected $7 trillion into the system, while US Congress has approved another $2.3 trillion. Just to give you a perspective, over the past 200 plus years, the total US debt was $20 trillion. And in the last 2 months, that debt has gone up 50%. And that is only to support for 2 months. If the economy remains closed, this number will be so much higher and so much worse. 17 million people have already filed for unemployment, and unemployment projections are at 40% according to some counts. And this is only in the United States, let alone what is happening around the world. Have you thought about what will happen to their families? Think about if this is happening in the United States, the world's superpower, the richest country, the center of innovation. Just think about what will happen in countries with billions of people and no way to distance themselves of social distancing. They have very little food and no support from government. There will soon come a time where the decision will be between opening the economy and death. This invisible force is not going anywhere, not with weather, not with any drug, not with vaccine, because we don't have a drug or a vaccine that can cure this ailment. And there are reports that this invisible enemy is now reactivating in people who were previously cured from it. So what is this invisible enemy that has gripped the world in a sudden chokehold? A world where people and governments with all their might, stature, wealth, huge buildings, kept increasing in their arrogance. Arrogance in the ability to kill innocents in Kashmir, Yemen, or Saudi Arabia, burn babies alive in Myanmar, torture Muslims in China, forcefully remove Shias from the Arab world, cordon off the graves of the Ahl Bayt alayhi salam, kill the Shia scholars in Saudi Arabia and other countries, butcher the poor people of Yemen, ignore the coffins with dead bodies on the street of Quetta and Parachinar, killing those who defeated the evil of ISIS, ignore the famine in Africa, ignore the state of affairs of migrants coming to the US on roads and not thinking about the poor babies, not considering migrants traveling to the Europe, ignoring the mass shootings, accepting bribes, looting travelers, adulterating food or medicine, raping small children and then uploading videos, looting minorities in broad daylight in the so-called democracies, or having bona fide killers, the custodians of the holy places of Muslims, or seeing the evil committed by the nation of Lut and staying quiet on all of these injustices. What made them quiet was the arrogance. The world did not raise any voice. We accepted this as normal. We said we cannot do anything. We, the humanity, was similar to the nation of Saleh, who ate from the meat of the she-camel and kept quiet. And the adhab of Allah came to the entire nation, even when the evil was started by only one person who cut the legs of the she-camel and only 8 other people supported him. The entire nation suffered because everyone kept quiet. We'll continue this discussion in future sessions.